Hello, good evening. Great to be with you again on your favorite program, Business Live. This is the platform where we bring to you a mixed bag of business news updates right on this favorite channel of yours. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Wiafe. Coming up to tonight's edition, the Bank of Ghana has outlined measures to deal with the negative impact of developments in Nigeria on the Ghana cedi. The Ministry of Finance is in the process of clearing the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority (SADA) to set up a bank to help finance projects under the Savannah zone. And the Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Murtala Mohammed, gives assurance of adequate arrangements to support sustainable production at the Komenda Sugar Factory in the Central Region. All right, so those were the headlines, but you can get interactive on this platform with us. At Twitter, you can reach us on @JoyBusiness, and on Facebook, Joy Business is our page. Just like it and get hooked up onto us. For more business news updates, you can also go on to myjoyonline.com/business. We'll be right back.
Business Life Today is brought to you by Ghana Commercial Bank.
Thanks for staying and welcome back to Business Live. And a very first story, the Bank of Ghana has indicated its preparedness to institute measures that will lessen any negative impact of developments in Nigeria on the Ghana cedi. George Wiafe, our correspondent, has been taking a look at how the central bank should go about with its policy to respond appropriately to these developments.
Sources close to the central bank say even though they have what it takes to step in and ensure that the Ghana cedi is not affected, it is currently monitoring the situation to ensure that it is not overtaken by developments in Nigeria. But currency analyst Derek Mensah says the Bank of Ghana should be careful with any measure that it wants to introduce.
I think that what the Bank of Ghana is saying in terms of monitoring the situation is basically what they need to be doing. I don't think that the impact of Naira depreciation at this point will have any significant impact on our currency, that's the cedi. So what they just have to do is to monitor the situation. If anything happens in terms of any adverse impact happens, then they respond accordingly. So in terms of monitoring at the moment, I think they are acting in the right.
Some analysts have indicated that developments in Nigeria could in the short term affect the Ghanaian economy in terms of import inflation. The Nigerian Naira has come under serious challenges following the sharp decline in crude oil revenue to that country, which affected dollar supply in Nigeria.
That business desk report was by George Wiafe. Now moving on, Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry Murtala Mohammed says adequate arrangements are being made to ensure sustainable production at the Komenda Sugar Factory in the Central Region. The factory has been under controversy since its opening last month, with questions raised about its viability, especially after reports of a plant shut down just after the inauguration. It has so far produced only brown sugar with sulfur, but yet to produce its first white sugar for consumption. Murtala Mohammed admits the initial production levels are relatively low, but as moves have been advanced to boost that.
As I talk to you, they produce brown sugar, they are in the process of producing white sugar. And I have no doubt in mind, possibly talking to you, that they would have even completed with the production of sugar. We spend over $170 million every year in the importation of sugar. But mind you, not just for domestic use. Pharmaceutical companies use sugar, the breweries, they all use sugar. This is how much you spend. At the initial stage, yes, we may not be able to produce enough. But at least once we do that and the Sablugu Sugar Factory come on stream and the other one comes, I believe that we'll be able, if we are not able to take it completely off, if you reduce it, imagine half of $170 million, what that can do to this economy and the value of our city. We have identified about 120-acre nursery plant. We have also identified almost 3,000 acres of land where we would use for irrigation. The other half of the agreement, which is the 24 $4 million, which is being worked on, which will be sent to Parliament very soon. That one will be done for the irrigation. One thing that the people of this country must understand, the factory was scheduled to complete in October. So it means that they finished the factory 6 months before the scheduled date. And therefore, all the other programs that you wanted to come alongside with them, which otherwise would have started by now, and by which the time the factory had completed, you would have done them. One thing, there is also another lie that is being told, that we buy the sugarcane at 63, which is an absolute lie. In fact, the sugarcane is bought, a ton is almost 200 Ghana cedis, and that is way higher. And again, those who bring them from far distances, the cost of transportation is paid by the factory.
All right, so that was the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Murtala Mohammed, giving us some assurance of the sustainability of the factory at Komenda in producing regular sugar output. Now, moving on, indications are that despite the huge debts cited in its operations by the Auditor General's report, the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority, SADA, has been cleared by the Ministry of Finance to establish a bank. According to the authority, the bank will be lending to local groups such as farmers. CEO of SADA, Charles Abogre, explained on Marketplace the difference between the proposed bank and other categories of banks in the country. SADA last year hinted at plans to establish a bank this year for the accelerated growth in the Savannah zone with a startup capital of $100 million.
The need to create a financial institution, a private sector-led financial institution, which focuses on mobilizing long-term finance to be able to lend through the commercial bank for medium to long-term basis.
Okay.
For agriculture and agro-business. So we are proposing the idea of a wholesale bank that can raise long-term capital, because the biggest problem facing commercial and medium and small-scale farmers and enterprises in the SADA zone is that they cannot depend on short-term loans from the universal bank to be able to grow agriculture. Agriculture naturally, or new investment in small and medium size, need medium to long-term borrowing and financing. But in November last year, we held a big roundtable in a Elite Hotel that brought the people from Exim Bank, the Commercial Bank, the Bank of Ghana, several people to discuss the idea. We went ahead with it because this meeting, including the people who are involved in the creation of the Exim Bank, recognize what SADA is doing as adding value. So the Exim Bank is a different animal, which is helpful. When you are able to invest up to a point where you need support to export, the Exim Bank is helpful. The infrastructure fund can be helpful in complementing infrastructure investment. But the problem you have with the SADA zone is that it faces a lot of serious disadvantages. One, its main potential source of development is agriculture. It's going to be predominantly private sector driven. So the equity will be private sector. There will be a minority public sector investment. And the international financial institutions are interested in putting money into this institution so that the institution leverages international capital. So don't think about financing simply as a budgetary allocation. Or it is not going to be a commercial bank. It is going to be a wholesale bank.
All right, so that was CEO of SADA, Charles Abogre, who was earlier on sharing his thoughts on the marketplace with regards to the establishment of SADA Bank, which is far advanced. Now, it's still live on the Business Live. You can reach us online by joining us on Twitter. Handle is GH Business or GH Joy Business. And then also on Facebook, we are at Joy Business. You can also reach us for more business updates by tuning onto myjoyonline.com/business. Now, moving on, it comes in as with beautiful colors and in various designs for different purposes. Originally noted for its traditional usage for storing some household items and for shopping in markets, the straw basket from the Upper East region has evolved into an international commodity capable of significantly boosting Ghana's foreign exchange. Now, Upper East correspondent Albert Sori visited Sirigu, one of many places known for the manufacture of straw baskets, and has come through with this report.
It is a bright afternoon here at the Sirigu Women's Organization for Pottery and Art in the Kassena Nankana West District of the Upper East Region. This group of women are busy weaving straw baskets, one of the top items often demanded for by tourists who visit the region. A number of spectacularly designed straw baskets have already been made and displayed here while the women continue with their work. As I go round, I observe the weavers are at various stages of manufacturing their baskets. The weaving is done manually without the aid of any machines. To get the beautiful colors that decorate the baskets, the straws are immersed in dyes according to the desired colors before they are used to weave. Straw baskets come in various shapes and sizes, but this is not just for decorative purposes. Each basket has a different purpose depending on the shape.
These are round baskets. We use it for shopping. We use this one for marketing. And this one is a bicycle basket. We sew leather and put it like this and hook it attached to the bicycle.
Straw baskets have been in existence for over a century and have been part of the tradition of the people of the Upper East region. In Sirigu, the women who weave these baskets often sell them for pennies on the local market. Meanwhile, straw baskets are in high demand on the international market, with the UK and the Netherlands being the well-known destinations for the baskets. Acting manager of the Bolgatanga Basket Weavers Cooperative Club, Charles Asabila, has 20 years of experience in the straw basket business. He explains the nature of the demand for the baskets on the international market.
Just today, we have received another mail that they want us to change another model because this one is selling, but they want to add more of the bicycle models to it. And not only that, please, we are doing some for another lady in Holland too. And if we also work out, it means that more models will have to be developed.
The demand for straw baskets on the international market has also created the need for newer models of the baskets. For this reason, the Women Leadership for Economic Empowerment and Food Security through the Empower Project has been training the women of Sirigu to make new models of straw baskets. Elham Mumuni is Programs Manager for the Women Economic Empowerment Program.
These are very common. You can easily find in the market. This and then all of this. So usually when they all do the same designs, it's difficult to get markets for these baskets. And then if they get, even if at all they get the market, it's usually very difficult to break even.
Atampore Agombiri is a straw basket weaver who benefited from a similar training last year. She told Joy News the skill she acquired from the training has improved her work and she now sells more baskets than she used to.
That's how I feed my children and pay their fees. I'm also able to buy more food to feed the entire family. Life is easier now for us.
Straw baskets have become an important tourist attraction and a commodity that has the potential to significantly boost Ghana's foreign exchange. But perhaps only when the right feasibility studies are done and government invests the needed resources into the manufacturing of these baskets. For Joy News, Albert Sori, reporting from Sirigu.
Now, banking guru Ernest Mauli Agbeshi is the new managing director of the largest state-owned bank, GC Bank Limited. He beat competition from some of the country's most experienced bankers who hoped to lead the bank. Joy Business gathers the board of GCB Bank settled on Mr. Agbeshi after grueling interviews with about 5 applicants, all of them astute bankers. He will succeed Mr. Simon Donu, who left the bank in March this year after nearly 6 years at the helm of affairs there. As the current MD of the state-owned National Investment Bank, NIB, Mr. Agbeshi is credited with turning around the fortunes of the bank, which was on a downward spiral, making the bank a profitable entity now. He's expected to bring his considerable experience, passionate advocacy and business acumen to bear on GCB Bank. Reports say Ernest Mauli Agbeshi's entire working life has been in the banking and finance area. In a related development, his deputy at the NIB, John Asamoah, is expected to be elevated to the position of a substantive managing director of that bank. Now, about 20,000 homes are expected to benefit from installations of government's free rooftop solar systems this year. The Energy Commission has set out guidelines for homes interested in taking advantage of the initiative. The Commission's board chairman, Dr. Kwame Ampofo, announced the guidelines at the launch of Ghana Energy Statistics Handbook and public ballot for the solar panels.
Interested persons must first acquire and install balance of system components comprising battery, inverter, and charge controller upon approval by the Energy Commission. The Commission will then provide a rooftop panel. Board Chairman of the Energy Commission, Dr. Kwame Ampofo, says the project will supply 200,000 rooftop panels and reduce consumption on national grid by 200 megawatts at the end of implementation.
The initial part of the program is to do 200,000 rooftops, homes. That's a huge number. Now, we were taking this number. If each one will get 500 peak watts of panel, it will amount to reducing the load by about 200 megawatts. And 200 megawatts is a whole lot of power. If you know, currently the deficit that we are experiencing is only between, say, 100 and 200 megawatts. So the investment in this solar program, if we are able to achieve all the 200,000, then it means that we would have avoided the gap.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister for Power, John Jinapor, speaking at the event, said government will be increasing the national grid by 600 megawatts by the end of the year.
Ensure that we stabilize the system. As the President rightly indicated, within a matter of 1 year, we have added more than 800 megawatts of capacity to the national grid. This includes Ameri, Car Power, KTPP, the BXA solar project that is providing us with 20 megawatts. 20 might be looked at a small figure, but if you take into account that it is the largest solar project in the whole of West Africa, it means that we are making a giant leap into the renewable energy sector. And we have also commissioned 180 megawatts of the Asogli power plant. And so if you were to add all that, it means that we're in excess of 800 megawatts of capacity currently added to the national grid. In addition to that, we are undertaking steps to add more than 600 megawatts by the end of the year. This includes the AXA Power, which is supposed to provide us with 370 megawatts. Asogli is also supposed to do another second phase of 180. The Car Power batch would be replaced with a 450 batch. And so another 450 of capacity would be coming on, as well as the refurbishment of the T3 plant. So if we put all that together, it then means that we'll be adding more than 600 megawatts.
Joseph Akabli reporting for Joy News.
All right, so those were some updates on the local front. Let's now cross over to the international scene and get some updates.
Apple has suffered another setback in China, a country that's critical to the company's success. A Beijing Intellectual Property Board ruled that Apple violated the design patents of Shenzhen Baili with the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. As a result, the company must stop sales of the two devices in Beijing. The ruling says Apple's iPhone 6 and 6 Plus infringe on patents of Baili's 100C smartphone. The decision was posted online on Monday. Although it was unclear exactly when the ruling came down, Apple says it's appealing and that the two models are currently still on sale, while the order is under review by a court. Orange Egypt said on Sunday that Egypt's telecommunications regulator had asked it to pay 3.54 billion Egyptian pounds for a license to offer fourth-generation mobile phone services. The regulator had asked it to pay 100 million Egyptian pounds to acquire a fixed-line license and 1.8 billion pounds to offer international calls, Orange Egypt said in a statement. Orange Egypt said it was looking into the license offers and had yet to make a decision. Raghuram Rajan, the governor of India's central bank, is to step down in early September at the end of his term. He had been expected to stay on in the role, but will return to academia. Mr. Rajan had been open to continuing after his initial 3-year term, but has made this move after due reflection and consultation with the government. The former IMF economist, who was one of the few to predict the 2008 financial crisis, has been praised for his handling of the Indian economy. It is now the fastest growing major economy in the world.
All right, so those international news updates bringing us to the end of the Business Live news today. All right, thank you very much for staying and welcome back. Now, vegetable exporters are calling for the establishment of mini dams in vegetable farming communities in the country to increase production. The request comes as the exporters anticipate the lifting of a ban on some produce exported to the EU market in September this year. Now, speaking to Joy Business, General Secretary of the Ghana Association of Vegetable Exporters, Daniel Aladi, also called for faster certification processes for farmers to boost the market. That's it on for the interview of the day today.
On the European market, without certification, you cannot export to the market. So in that case, Ghana as a country, we are shipping to the lower level market, the ethnic market. To penetrate the supermarket and the top level market, you need to have a lot of farmers certified. In other areas like Kenya, Ethiopia, and other places, you see a national effort to ensure that farmers are brought together, they are trained, and they meet these requirements. Like I mentioned too, you need to have irrigation schemes for year-round production. Here we look at huge irrigation system, but that is not what the smallholder farmers want. In the communities where we collect this vegetable, we can look at having mini dams and small dugouts so that during the off-season, farmers can actually rely on that to do regular production. These are the kind of things we are talking about.
Interview of the day was brought to you by
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. A tailor-made suit for the perfect fit. You made it happen by choosing well in everything you do. A bespoke interior just the way you like it. An individually designed timepiece that's uniquely yours. When something's made for you, every detail feels just right. With a dedicated personal service, Premier Banking by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
And thank you very much for being with us on the show. And you can always get interactive with us. You can tweet at Joy Business, and then you can also log onto Facebook. Our page is Joy Business. And as usual, you can go on to www.myjoyonline.com/business, where you can get further business news updates or here on the show. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Thank you so much for being with me, and you also join me again same time tomorrow. Remember, Business Live comes your way every Monday to Friday from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Good evening, and up next is Focus on Africa.